My daughter Hazel, pre-tween, has been obsessed with animals, especially monkeys, for most of her life. So, on her birthday each year, minus the last for obvious reasons, we visit a local holiday park and petting zoo. My mother started this tradition for my nieces, 28 and 21, who've outgrown it now, but I like to carry it on. I explained the tradition over breakfast to Natalie, my partner of 3 years, expecting her to be excited too, but she was not. Natalie told me that her daughter, Gracie Mays, 1 year older than Hazel, a fearful child and too worrisome around animals such as horses, donkeys, and goats, to enjoy such a day out. Natalie suggested we try somewhere new that would be less frightening for her, a new tradition. I knew Hazel would be heartbroken, so I insisted on the holiday park and petting zoo. While Hazel, my niece, 21, Natalie's son, Jack, tween, and I went to the holiday park, Natalie stayed at home with Gracie May. Jack hadn't seen a goat in person before, so that was exciting for him, whereas Hazel was tall enough to go on rides she couldn't previously, which excited her. Hazel and Jack each picked up a toy from the gift shop on our way out, and we stopped at McDonald's on the way home for dinner. So overall, Hazel had a good birthday. Natalie was less thrilled about the day. I thought I'd been nice to include Jack, but she thought I'd driven a wedge between the siblings by taking one and not the other. I said Gracie May could do what she wanted on her birthday, but it was Hazel's birthday, so it would be unfair for it to revolve around Gracie May. Natalie thinks I was heartless for isolating her daughter, not even bringing her McDonald's, while she listened to Hazel and Jack talk about the fun they'd had. This annoyed me, as Natalie has been the one saying Gracie May would have hated the trip, which was why she wasn't invited. Natalie doesn't think I'm putting in enough effort to establish that we're supposed to be a family now and do things together, with which I generally agree. Still, surely Hazel's birthday is supposed to be about her. Regardless, Gracie May is clearly miserable and feels very left out, while Hazel and Jack had a brilliant time. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted my daughter to have a special day. But I do understand why it would upset her. She's clearly an emotional child. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Natalie doesn't care about Gracie May's feelings. If she did, she would have done something enjoyable with her herself while you guys were out. But instead of doing something uplifting for her own child, she sat home with her, where they sulked together and became miserable for the sole purpose of using Gracie May's misery to make you feel guilty for giving your own child a happy birthday. If you're smart, you will think long and hard before continuing this relationship. Natalie has made it clear that she expects you to prioritize her daughter over yours, and that she will go so far as to increase her own child's suffering to manipulate you with it. She is not a good person to have in your daughter's life. Yes, I wouldn't build a life with someone who uses their child as a pawn to manipulate me emotionally. She's done this to punish you for not doing what she wanted. People who punish you for having boundaries, in this case by causing and weaponizing her daughter's unhappiness, are impossible to have a healthy relationship with. That's a really good point. If Gracie May thinks she wasn't invited, that would be hurtful, so make sure she knows she was invited, but her mom said no. Also, I have a tough time believing she wouldn't have wanted to go, no matter how timid she is. Did Natalie ever say how she felt about the park? Maybe she just didn't want to go. Gracie's parties can be all about what she does and doesn't like. That doesn't mean that Hazel and Jack have to cater to her. But I will say that while you're not the idiot here, you could have done better and brought a toy and McDonald's back for Gracie. It would be best if you tried to include her, though you don't have to change the whole thing to suit her. OMG, he is not her dad. Let him spend his time and energy on his kid, because Natalie certainly will. Natalie isn't going to help her daughter by shielding her from things that may frighten her. She could have easily come along and kept Gracie May feeling calm and safe. And you're right, Hazel's birthday is about her. Alyssa, 27, Jess, 26, Nora, 24, Ivy, 27, and me, 26, have been friends since high school. Alyssa got engaged and we were all very excited. Unfortunately, she tells us she's getting cold feet about 3 months before the wedding. We reassured her that it was normal given the huge commitment she was about to make and all of the stress of planning a wedding. Sometime later, she calls in the middle of the night and tells me that she's reconnected with an ex. This is someone who broke her heart so bad. Imagine a narcissist who dates many women and love bombs them, only to treat them badly later. The ex had asked her to grab a coffee to say goodbye and wish her well, but one thing led to another, and they slept together. I was shocked and tried to give her a reality check. She broke down crying. Alyssa was adamant that it was just one time and would never happen again, so I hoped it was just one foolish mistake before a very stressful situation. People make mistakes. I asked Alyssa if she loved her fiancé, and she said yes, very much. She also said that she had already told the others about this, and that they also said if it was just the one time and meant nothing at all, to move on and forget it ever happened. It wasn't the last time. At first, they just texted, but soon they started an affair. Alyssa started having big doubts about the wedding. This caused a rift in our group. The others thought that she should call off the wedding if Alyssa felt more passionate about her ex. They thought that the relationship with her fiancé was not salvageable anymore. I was the only one who thought what she felt for her ex was not real love, that he was love bombing her to prove that he could still get her, and that if she gave up on her fiancé for him, he would eventually break her heart again. We all agreed that she should talk to her fiancé. Alyssa decided to follow the others' advice and called off the wedding to be with the ex. Everyone was heartbroken. Unfortunately, things aren't going well. They fight nonstop, especially because he's convinced that she still loves her ex-fiancé and obsesses about it. She's miserable and feels guilty about the whole thing. The 5 of us were recently together, and Alyssa said that she wonders if she made a huge mistake. I've been trying my best not to say I told you so, but this time I couldn't hold it back. I feel like I was voted down by the others and their naive idea of love before this all started happening. So while Alyssa was crying, I said, "I hate to say it, but I told you this would happen." She started crying even harder. Later in a group chat, the others told me that it was super crappy to say that. They said it didn't help the situation at all, and I should support her as best I could instead of making her feel worse. Ivy especially is livid and thinks I'm a bad friend and owe Alyssa an apology, but I disagree. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Whose heart got broken? Her fiancé, the poor guy. He dodged a bullet. It seems like everyone forgets him in the equation. Your friend is the idiot. It was just one time and would never happen again? Once a cheater, always a cheater. She deserved what she got. Everyone's the idiot here. Your friends for enabling her in hiding or cheating from her fiancé, her for cheating on her fiancé, and you for rubbing it in. Yes, you were right, but adding insult to injury when she's already having a breakdown about her crappy actions doesn't prove anything we don't already know. At the end of the day, I told you so never gets you anywhere constructive. Maybe next time, just enjoy that you get a front row seat to watching karma weave its wicked web. I, 45 female, have a 19 daughter who is smart, kind, and beautiful. She has lots of friends, is a good student, and has always had a great work ethic. I am very proud. However, recently, she has changed her hobbies and interests and is very much stuck in this phase of her life. She bought herself an Xbox at the beginning of 2020 and started gaming. Her obsession grew, and because of the mandates, it was easier for her to become addicted to it. She would be up all night talking to her boyfriends, and when the restrictions were lifted, she would bring her Xbox to her guy friends' houses. She took a gap year, and when we started thinking about the colleges she should apply to, I suggested she should apply to Northern University in our state and rush for a sorority. I was in one, but she said she would instead go to a limited Greek life school. She said that she thinks that sorority life is fake and she wouldn't form any emotional connections. I took this offensively because I was in one at her age, so I don't know why she would have this narrative. She's only spent a weekend at her friend's sorority. Anyway, cut to now. She's in college, she's doing great. Again, she's a beautiful girl and has many friends, but she's only become more interested in this gaming thing. She talks about people who do live videos of them doing pretty much anything, playing video games, watching interesting videos, events, etc. She has a setup in her room where she spends her own money on a gaming chair and more. She has anime books and watches anime. I sat her down a few days ago and told her she should find more sociable hobbies, and she became angry at me. She's saying that I'm trying to make her into me and that I'm obsessed with her popularity. I tried to calm her down, but she refused to believe that I just wanted what was best for her. A few of my husband's friends and I have girls her age who are in Greek life, have fun group outings and inclusive hobbies, so I just don't get it. She has many friends and is very pretty. I just want her to have healthier and more productive habits. She hasn't talked to me since. She's been busy moving to her new house with her friends, and my husband told me she's justified, but says he refuses to put himself as a part in this. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. How many times do you have to mention that she's pretty? Would you be fine with her liking gaming if she wasn't conventionally attractive? Gaming is social, by the way, especially depending on what game she's playing. Twitch streaming is also social. You mentioned that she has a lot of friends and is happy and healthy. So what's your issue? That she's not like you? That you didn't get a carbon copy legacy to parade around for your sorority sisters? Let your daughter be her own person and support her. I picked up on this too. It's like OP thinks that because her daughter's attractive, she automatically must act in a certain way and be interested in a certain set of things. I was honestly surprised I didn't read Gaming is for Boys in OP's story. I'd love to see a list of hobbies that OP deems fit for a pretty girl to participate in. LOL. You are the idiot. She's finding and following her passions. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's wrong. You also sound obsessed with how pretty and popular she is. Two things that aren't really important. Go in front of a mirror and practice saying the following. I don't really understand these new interests in your life. I am proud that you're finding yourself and becoming your own person. I will work on respecting your boundaries and not passing judgment. I love you no matter what. Once you've got that down, talk to her and say it and mean it. So I, male 25, and my wife 24, are going to the United States from Japan for a month for vacation. And when we booked the tickets, we initially thought that we were going to be sitting next to each other, but I had the option to upgrade my seat to business with miles, and I did. Well, my wife is not too happy about that because she wanted to sit together on the 12-hour flight, but it's overnight, so we're going to be sleeping the whole flight. So I didn't think it mattered. I told her that, and she got upset because she thinks I chose business class over her, and that's rude, apparently. I said to her that she's just jealous in a teasing, joking way, and she got upset and told me to ask the airline to see if I could switch my seat back to economy. I said heck no, because I'm not going to miss my opportunity to sit in business class, which looks amazing, by the way. In my eyes, it's just a 12-hour flight, and it doesn't matter if I sit next to my wife or not. If it's really bad, though, I still have a week before my flight to maybe get it changed. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. If there's only one upgrade, my missus would be offered it first. Then she would knock it back because she would prefer to be with me than comfortable alone, which is sort of what marrying someone is meant to mean, don't you think? I wouldn't cash in miles until there was enough to upgrade us both or buy us a vacation trip. Jesus, you don't know how to be married at all. You are the idiot. You literally ditched your wife and then mocked her. You are absolutely the idiot here, and she's completely right to be upset. A move like that would make me think long and hard about my marriage. What good does my husband do for me to make up for this egocentric behavior? Business class comes with more space, better service, and a quieter atmosphere. You're sending a message to your wife that you deserve all that, but she doesn't. Why didn't you upgrade both seats so you could both have a better experience? Just a 12-hour flight isn't a sentence I hear that often. I've done 12-hour flights several times, and they suck even when you have company you love. That flight is going to be even more awful for your wife if she's stuck next to a stranger. Whether you understand why or not, your wife has clarified how she feels, and you are the idiot if you ignore that. My wife and I, 35 female, are going on a family vacation with her son, parents, and siblings to the Greek islands. It's a place my wife and I talked about visiting on our very first date and have saved up lots of money to go. My ex-wife and I are still very close. We had 3 kids together, but sadly all 3 passed away. However, I still consider her my family, and I've known her almost my whole life, so there were no hard feelings after our divorce. She's also like an aunt to my stepson and very good friends with my current wife and me. My stepson asked me to bring my ex-wife on our family vacation with us, since she's family. I thought about it for a while, and I decided why not ask her. She and her boyfriend had recently broken up, and she's been pretty beaten down the last few weeks. So I thought a little vacation for her would help her out a lot and get some things off her mind and relax for a bit. I asked my wife and she said happy to have her come along. I asked my ex-wife if she would like to join us, and she was hesitant at first because she didn't want to intrude, but she eventually agreed and was more than excited to come along. She offered to buy her own plane ticket and hotel room, but my wife and I insisted that we would take care of it for her. She was incredibly grateful, and she started packing. My wife's mother had come over to our house and saw I had 1 extra plane ticket on the counter than what we were supposed to have, and I told her that my ex-wife was coming. She blew up in my face and told me I was making everyone very uncomfortable by inviting her and that nobody even knew her. She also accused me of planning to cheat on my wife by inviting her on this trip. She called me an idiot for bringing my ex-wife on a family trip. She also said that she's no longer my family since we were divorced and have no kids together. I yelled a whole bunch of crap in her face that I don't even remember. She stormed out of my house, and now everyone is calling to say that they don't want to go on the trip anymore. And now my wife is very upset. I was just trying to do something nice for someone who was struggling at the moment. I didn't think inviting one person would cause everyone to pull out. They're going on a free vacation, and the plane is refundable. I'm starting to feel like an idiot because now my wife is very upset that her family isn't going, and we've spent all this money on this trip. And to make things worse, my ex-wife texts me saying she's all packed for tomorrow and how excited and grateful she is that we invited her. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If the wife had no issue, the stepson didn't, why was mother-in-law so angry? Honestly, if I were you, I'd be very cautious of her in the future because I've seen mothers ruin their children's marriages due to their paranoid thoughts. It's none of your mother-in-law's business, really. Everyone's the idiot here. If you're going to invite someone on a vacation you planned with a bunch of people, it's probably best to check with everyone beforehand. That includes your in-laws. Mother-in-law is being unreasonable and insulting. Still, she should have been consulted beforehand. Maybe the whole thing wouldn't have blown up like that then. Mother-in-law was out of line to throw a hissy fit, but your response was too extreme. You should have let mother-in-law have her childlike temper tantrum and let your wife handle her. Not the idiot. Her "you have no children with her" comment is grounds to go absolute nuclear on her in my book. That was so uncalled for and frankly messed up. Just because they aren't co-parenting anymore doesn't mean they won't always be the mother of each other's children. Once a mom, always a mom.